Good day, everyone. Welcome back to A Voice in the Wilderness with Lad from the Woods. It is Monday, November 8th, and it's about 8 o'clock anyway. I guess these times don't really matter, does it? Anyway, you can see up on my little board here a familiar face that I railed on about. That his name is Josh Hawley, and he's just a senator from Missouri. Okay, and last time I was railing on about him, he was sticking his nose into Canadian business, which I succinctly told him, stay the fuck out of our business. And if I could cross that border, I would have driven right to his goddamn thing with a Canadian flag, knocking on his door, telling him, you mind your own fucking business. I don't have to hit him or do anything like that, but I'll tell you, I wouldn't leave that place alone until this idiot heard me. Anyways, this guy is an idiot, okay? He's just, they call him the Republican senator from Missouri who helped push former President Donald Trump's election lies and said conservatives must call men back to responsibility. Well, that's the nature of my little talk here. This pig-figured piece of shit from Missouri, okay, or Missouri, okay, is going to tell people like me, okay, ex-biker, all the rest of it, that we should be men, okay? He's going to tell people in the United States of America that dig ditches, that drive trucks, that work at GM and all the other factories and everything, these guys that work 10, 12, 14, 15, 16 hours a day, women who work that, but anyway, we're talking about men, that we've got to call men back to responsibility. You know what? There's lots of things that could be said that, okay, we men could be doing better. But this ain't the fucking guy, okay, to tell anybody anything. First of all, he's got an IQ of below 100, absolutely 100% sure. I've watched and listened to this clown going, how does a guy like this even get elected into American Congress? Should they not have some kind of SAT score test or something before you go into Congress? You got to know all of the history of the United States government. You got to do all this. You got to pass all those tests. If you're not, you're out of there. I mean, holy fuck, so this backwards unit from Missouri, okay, is decided he has a bone to pick now with porn and video games. We've been through this before. Josh Hawley, I'll tell you, it was called the moral majority, and that was the Ronald Reagan crowd, and it didn't work then, and it won't work now, okay? And I will make videos to the day I die to go against people like you and the moral majority, because I fought the moral majority back in the day, okay? I stood with people against other rich people trying to harass First Nations in this country. So if you think I'm afraid of you, I stood in front of our Canadian Army. Okay, if you think I'm afraid to say something back to you, well, I got something to say to you, pal. You want to test who's a man and who ain't? You and I can go anywhere, anytime, Josh. Come up to Canada. I'll take you through the bush here and see which one of us lasts long about being a man. You know nothing. I bet you can't even light a fire. And you're going to start telling people about how men should be men, how they should have responsibility. There's millions of fathers out there that actually look after their kids. But you're going to come along and say, well, because daddy watches porn, he's suddenly not good for running his thing. Well, Josh, you know what? Just about everyone, male or female, watches porn in one shape, form, or another. It's only the minority of people like you that don't. And if you don't believe that, then why is the porn industry a $20 or $30 billion industry? Okay? We've gotten to the point where no one cares, okay? Is there a sex attack epidemic in your country? I haven't heard so. Yeah, there's probably a lot of sickos running around, but they should be actually fixed, or if they can't be fixed, put somewhere. Anyways, Josh, okay? Been there, done that. Like, you're just an empty suit millennial on the right side, and you're dumb. You're actually dumb, okay? So, okay, I don't care about his January 6th. As conservatives, we've got to call men back to responsibility. As conservatives, you mean like the senator that was playing footsie with the other guy in the bathroom? Or the other 100 conservatives over the last few years that were caught in all kinds of sex scandals and children and all the rest of it? What about the stuff that you people like, the church people, Josh? Okay, how many of them priests of the Catholic Church have raped and molested and done things to children? Okay, and this brings us back again, Josh. Okay, conservatives, we've got to call men back to responsibility. Who are you to say? Who are you to make up what is right and wrong? Your religion doesn't have a right to say what's right and wrong. Okay, a man decides for his own family. Okay, and if he starts breaking the laws of the United States or Canada or whatever, well, then the law people deal with that. Okay, but who are you to come into somebody's house telling them they shouldn't watch video games or watch porn if their household is being run properly? Most households that aren't being run properly, Josh Hawley, is the fact that they don't have jobs, lack of money, lack of schooling, lack of this, lack of that. Why don't you concentrate on that instead of worrying about fucking video games? You know? Video games. Listen to this. We've got to say that spending your time not working, spending your time on video games, spending your time watching porn online is not good for you, your family, or this country. What the fuck are you talking about? You know, walk into the General Motors factory, okay, and the reason that they're sitting home is because there's all kinds of fucking robots now, Josh. Okay? It's not because they're sitting around playing video games. Yeah, is there a population that does that? Oh, probably, yeah. But they're not the majority, Josh. You're taking a little thing and blowing it up into something big. Okay? It's nothing. It's a nothing. Okay? If you want men to take responsibility, back to responsibility, well then give them jobs. Put a roof over their head so they can raise their kids. Okay? If they haven't been to school, send them to school. Okay? If they can't go to college, high school, send them to vocational school and pay for it. That's what you need to get men back to responsibility, Josh Hawley. But you wouldn't know that because you're a pink-fingered little poop. A pink-fingered little boy that's never done anything or been anywhere. Okay? You're a nobody that got his name in the thing because you yap and say stupid shit. Okay? You're an absolute nobody. And for you to stand there and say, I mean, Josh, you got a problem with sticking your nose in other people's business. Okay? You know, small government. Yet, and I'm a social-libertarian, Hawley, and the rest of you out there, which means I believe we should help the people that really need the help, and then other than that, government, stay the fuck out of my business. So you call yourself a conservative, I call myself partial libertarian, and I'm more conservative than you, and I don't even think of myself as a conservative, because I have the social part. But it's none of my business what George does down the road and how he raises his kids. Okay? If he's breaking the law, harming his kids, that's for the law to pick out and look after. But if George is sitting there and he's doing nothing and and he wants a job and everything, you think maybe we ought to concentrate on that rather than worrying about whether he's jacking off to fucking some porn star or playing some stupid video game? Josh, you got a problem with sticking your nose in other people's business. And you call yourself a conservative. Well, the real conservatives, government don't get involved. And this is the problem I had with the moral majority back in the 80s. You're conservatives, yet you want to tell everybody else what to do. Okay? None of your business what I do. Okay? So that makes me a libertarian. Okay? And then the social part is, I want to help guys like George down the road to get a job. And that's what our government should be doing, to help those people so that they can bring themselves up and support themselves and survive. Without the government sticking their nose into all their business, Josh. Mr. So-called conservative. You know, a man, Hawley claimed, is a father and a husband and somebody who takes responsibility. You think, Josh? We need you to tell us that? Any man who's been with a girl and popped a kid, okay, and is still there raising that kid, they understand that clearly. The one that didn't stick around, this 2 16-year-olds and popped a kid, is because their lives are messed up because they didn't have any kind of future. They didn't have jobs. They didn't have schooling. They didn't have that. And why is that, Josh? Because you conservatives have completely fucking raped and destroyed that system over the last 60, 70 years. Okay? He then comically blamed liberals for the popularity of video games and porn, as if Americans need any convincing to enjoy either. Okay? What about the people that enjoy shooting guns and then 10% of them go out and shoot people, Josh? Okay? Let's blame them for something. Okay? Hawley's recent crusade against the two activities first made headlines last month after his speech at the National Conservatives Conference in Orlando, Florida. Talk about hypocrisy. We're conservatives, but we still want to stick our nose in your business and tell you how to run your lives. That's what Josh is doing. He wants to tell you how to run your lives, just like a lot of right-wing people accuse liberals of doing, which they try to do. They want to censor. They want to do this. But here's Josh Hawley doing the same thing. Now, you people down in Missouri ought to have a look at this guy. Fine, vote Republican, but don't vote for a moron like this and some pink-fingered little twat. Okay, you people there that voted him, Missouri is not the richest fucking state in the union, and I'm sure that there's a whole lot of hard-ass working fathers and mothers and all kinds of hard-working people in that state if they've got jobs. Josh Hawley, you should be working on getting your state jobs. Okay, rather than worrying about whether they're jacking off to porn or playing fucking X-Men or whatever. Okay? Okay? Can we be surprised that after years of being told that they are the problem, that their manhood is the problem, and more men are withdrawing into the enclave of idleness, pornography, and video games? He sounds like some of these people that used to do these black and whites in the 1930s. And it's like, what are you talking about? In Hawley's imagination, Crash Bandicoot and depictions of coitus are more harmful to American men than dangerous political conspiracy theories. Now, that's MSNBC, okay? I don't agree with NBC about that, okay? What is more harmful to American men is that they don't have jobs. They don't have money. They can't put a proper roof over their head. They can't get their kids the things they need. They can't send their kids to university, okay? That is what's more dangerous, Josh Hawley, than anything else. And that's been proven. Okay? We've already been through this with the moral majority. Along comes the Clintons. They turned it into triple X rated presidency. I hated him and his idiot wife just as much. But the point being, Josh Hawley, okay, is that people are going to do what people are going to do. Okay? And if they don't have options, then they're going to do that. But if they have options, most of them, the majority, will go and do elsewise. Okay? His argument that stances against misogyny and hyper-masculinity are destroying American manhood, are just part of the conservative culture war on progressive society, and they're pitiful. Set aside for a moment that this is one of the most swagless people in human history. On a serious note, men like Hawley have no currency to declare what a man should or shouldn't be. I agree with that. And that's what annoys them the most. There is nothing noble about the junior senator, so in lieu of having actual values that are worth respecting, he reduces manhood to something he can achieve, abstaining from video games and pornography, or getting married and having kids. Well, Josh, in this environment, how do you get married and have kids if you got no job to pay for them? And then, okay, so we don't have jobs because of robotics and everything else, but you will vote against something like universal basic income. Because if they have that, and they're able to support themselves and put a roof over their head and pay the fucking bills and pay their tax and all the rest of it, I don't know, they'll probably act like men and take care of their families. And if you want people to have more kids, okay, because this is what this is really about. What he's saying is, and he knows what's going on, the white population going down like that. And he wants to tell white people, well, you should get your shit together, fucking make more white kids. That's what his real deal is. But he won't say that. But I'm telling you now, this piece of crap is a pink-fingered racist. And this is right there. Okay? And it says, okay, the last paragraph here on this MSNBC thing. In reality, manhood, at least a kind worth reaching for, is far more demanding. As someone best known for raising his fist to hopeless believers in Trump's election fraud fairy tale, he, of all people, should know that being man requires more than just a free hand. Well, of course, the person writing this, is that a male or female? Because then I'm getting, I don't know, it's Jahan or Jahan Jones. Well, if she's a female, then she's mansplaining to me, or whatever, you know, the woman explaining to me. And if it's a guy, well, I'm sorry, Jahan Jones, have you ever been a man, you know, where you've had to work 2 jobs to support a family? I originally came from Michigan, and I saw all that. I saw the poorest of the poor We lived amongst them because we were the poorest of the poor. Okay. My dad struggled and worked every day of his life. He sometimes had to work 7 days a week, and we were still eating things like crap dinner. And this was the 1970s. Okay. And then my mother, being a female at that time, in the early 70s, okay, wasn't paid as well as men were. So it was a struggle every day and every day until we got back to Canada. Thank God my parents finally got us back here. They both got good jobs. But even then, it was a struggle. They couldn't afford to send me to university. Okay. But my dad did the best what he could. That's a man, Josh Hawley. Okay, and he worked every day of his life, hard work. He served in the United States military. Then he got himself a job in the computer business here in Canada, and working for some big, it used to be called Bell Northern, but then it became Nortel, and then they went bankrupt. But, you know, my dad did everything he could to make a buck so that us kids had something on the table. And even if it wasn't the best food, that is what a man is, Josh. Okay, there were calluses on those hands to support his family. Now, I'm not saying every person has to have callus on their hands and dig ditches and drive trucks, but you know, you've got to have some kind of inkling of what a true man is, and it's not coming from this pink-fingered twat. So, anyways, we'll end this here. This is the second time I've had to do a video about this moron, and I'm probably going to have to keep doing more because the junior senator from Missouri, okay, this is just like Joe Manchin. Some backward state senator comes along and wants to tell the rest of the world or the rest of the United States what to do. Yet when you go into their state and you say something to people, you got no business being here. That's another one for Joe Manchin. This guy is so hypocritical. Anyways, so there you go, people. Josh Hawley, a man who's trying to tell you what to do, a conservative, supposedly, who is interfering in your private home business, private lives, okay? He's trying to tell you how to be men out there, guys. Okay? George from GM, Larry from Ford's, you know? Jamie from fucking Amazon, you know? All the rest of you out there doing all that hard work and everything. People that work in offices that work or the people that are working in the restaurants, waiters, waitresses, chefs, all that other thing. This clown has no clue. Stop voting for him, people in Missouri. If you don't want to vote Democrat, I don't blame you. They're fucking morons too. But there's got to be somebody better in Missouri than this clown, who's now going to try and tell you what to do in your household. Now, a lot of people will pump their fist, the right-wing guy, oh, yeah, we should do this. Well, I say to you folks, but you're the same folks that say, I don't want the government sticking your business in as to whether I own a gun or whether I do this or do that. Well, why are you letting him get away with this? Okay? He's doing exactly what the communist liberals do and the fascist right-wingers do. They want to stick their nose in their business. So why do you support a guy like this? This guy should be run out of town, run out of Congress, and he should be, you know what, he should go get a job in a farm field somewhere, you know what, and working his ass off like a Mexican guy supporting his 4 kids on virtually no money, and he doesn't even have a proper citizenship because, you know, we all know that story. Anyways, I'm going to end this at 20 minutes. I cannot stand this clown. And it just keeps getting worse. And I saw this and I'm going, porn and video games. You know, Josh Hawley, I'll bet you $1 million. I'll bet anybody $1 million this guy was into the porn. It's usually those people that go against it are the people that are actually doing that kind of stuff behind the scenes. It's just like a lot of gay people that were in the closet on the right wing would sit there and jab, jab, jab and do everything they can against gay people. Then it turns out they're gay. Okay? That's what you've elected to the Congress. Okay? You elected a low IQ moron, a pink-fingered punk that's never done anything in his life except run his gate and stick his nose in other people's business. Okay? And he's going to continue to do that. So vote this guy out. Get rid of him. Find another good Republican, conservative, whatever you want to do, or a Democrat, or if the People's Party is in that state, find someone else. But don't check your people out, people. You know, you had to know this pink-fingered twat was going to start this bullshit. Okay? Because we've been there before. Anybody over 40 or 50 knows we've been there before. Okay? So, anyways, it's up to 20 minutes. I thank you people for coming. I'm going to smoke my coffee and drink my doobie to calm down. And maybe I'll do some more videos because I'm in the mood for a voice in the wilderness. If I do a bunch of these, then I can just keep uploading them for a while and get I caught up. Anyway, thanks for coming, everybody. If you want to help me or the channel out, there's links down in the description. And if you want more information about me and my channels, well, that's all at the end of the video on those thumb cards. Okay? Everybody be good, be cool, be happy good, be good at being bad. See ya. Peace. And live long and prosper.